Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pac-12 Chat Show live here on the Voice of College Football channel. I'm Tony Altimore here, as always, with Rick, Chris, and Tim, who'll be with us in a moment. And we're excited to take some time tonight to talk to you guys about the week ahead here in the Pac-12. We've got some good games and some good chats to be had after some pretty crazy games last week. First, our news of the week. And the first news of the week, guys, isn't directly about the Pac-12, but does have a little impact on the Pac-12, and that is out of the American Conference. One of the questions a few months ago was, would the American Conference look west? And they are not. The American Conference has decided to look east and has replaced Southern Methodist with the United States Military Academy. Guys, Army is in the American. Pretty fittingly. Any quick takes on this big news?
So doesn't that mean that there's only like 3 independents now?
Well, if you consider the fact that Notre Dame plays half of an ACC schedule, there's actually now only 2 independents, and they are kind of funny. They're adjacent flagship schools. It's Connecticut and Massachusetts. So UConn and UMass are really the only independents left now. So, but what that means is that the AAC is most definitely not probably going to do anything with Oregon State and Washington State. Again, no surprise, but this pretty much locks that in. But congrats to the cadets. It's kind of exciting. And so that takes us to our weekly drama of what happens next. And the answer is we don't know. So a lot more filings today, actually. Today's Wednesday, for those of you guys watching later, but a lot more filings today in the Washington State, Oregon State case, where they are trying to find every email, every note, document, whatever, to try to justify that they think they should have sole control of the Pac-12. And we will see what happens. It remains currently in mediation. The next hearing is November 14th. Certainly no inside info on this, but if I were you guys, I would bet on hopefully having a solution, because I don't think they're going to want to spend, 3 years in mediation or in lawsuits. So we'll see. But that's the big news of the week. And of course, none of the Pac-12 teams thankfully caught up in the Michigan scandal. So
that's not quite true, actually.
Uh-oh. Who's caught up in it?
Well, all right. Well, I was going to leave it for when I actually talked about them, but there's a part of a Sports Illustrated article that came out that ties Jedd Fisch to Connor Stalions a little bit.
I understand he did a lot of prep work to help Jedd Fisch with head coaching interviews.
Right. Yeah. So that's like what the story is, right? So, but you don't know like how much of what else is going on. There's questions about whether like there were even like a couple other teams involved. I'm not saying that's what Arizona did. I think that's probably nothing. I think this guy is just trying to make a name for himself in wherever he could and doing whatever he could to get into the industry is what it seems like.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see, I guess. It seems like more info comes out like every hour.
I know it's an adventure. But most importantly, guys, we've got games this week. Are we ready to get rolling? We got folks in the audience. We got folks who are going to be watching us on the follow-up. Hey, guys, do me a favor real quick. If you're watching live, if you're watching on the tape, whatever, just take 1 second, hit the like button. It makes a huge difference for Mark and the channel. And we really appreciate it, and Mark really appreciates it too. So if you could just take 1 second, hit the like button, that makes all the difference in the world. All right, let's get rolling on games of the week. Our first game of the week from Rice-Eccles Stadium, 3:30 p.m. on Big Fox. We've got the game of the week, Oregon and Utah. Boys, who have you got?
So Utah is obviously coming off the big win at the taking out the Trojans at the Coliseum. And now game day comes to town. gets even bigger. And
Huge.
not often Utah is a dog at home. They're 6.5-point underdogs. I think the real interesting matchup to me is Oregon is, I think, number 1 in yards per rush, and they're facing a really good Utah defense and Utah front that I'm kind of interested to see how that matchup plays out. But yeah, what this Utah's team's done, like with all of their injuries and, like Vake or however you say his name, reminding people of Miles Jack, like coming and becoming a two-way player, like out of nowhere, lighting the world on fire. Like, you gotta give a lot of credit to this program for what they've done this year. Again, every time when everyone is, doubting them to continue to just win games. I think it's hard to pick against Utah at home. I think there's like an 18 home game win streak. And I think Utah is a good team, but I'm not so sure that Utah finding its offense is so much that it really found its offense as much as it happened to play Cal and SC.
That helps.
So even though I think Utah is really good, and even though it's Rice Eccles, I think Oregon is, playoff caliber, and I'm gonna take Oregon to squeak this out in a close one.
All right. Who's next? Oh, Tim, you're on mute.
My heart says Utah. My brain says Oregon. I'm with Chris in the fact that I think that the Utes. See, here's the thing. I think that the Utah has actually watched the film and will know that Vaki will go on a wheel route. So I see.
I was going to get to that later.
You're saving that one? Yeah. When Gabe called me yesterday and blew that up, saying he's one of the first plays of the game was a wheel route to Vaki. And anyway, yeah, I think the situation with Oregon is that they are by far the most well-rounded team. And it's a tough thing to go into Rice Eccles, but I'm with you. They're gonna be able to run the ball a lot against a very good run defense. I think USC, the one thing it did well last week actually was able to run the ball in the first quarter against the Utes, till they kind of figured it out a little bit. But again, I'm going with Oregon. Go Utes! I hope you win, but this one looks like it's all Ducks. I'm sorry, all Ducks. It's gonna be a close game. I mean, they're gonna win. It's gonna be close.
No rhyme or reason. I'm taking Utah at home.
I think that is the reason, right?
Well, that'd be the one reason to do it.
Well, I've thought about this one, guys, and I was really impressed with what Utah did last week. But Oregon, I think Oregon's just too good. I think Oregon breaks the Rice Eccles curse, and they do it, I think, in pretty solid fashion. I'm taking the Ducks to win and to cover. So we'll see. Quack quack. But again, all my respect to Utah, they may win. I'm not. I wouldn't swear by it, but Oregon has just looked really, really good. I hate that, but they look really good. So go Ducks. All right, next up, a big game for history. Maybe not as big a game for gameness. It didn't even get picked up by a TV network, so it's on the Pac-12 network. Just when USC thought it was done with the Pac-12 network, they stink their way into another game on it. Gang, we have the last scheduled showdown between California and USC. Who's got this one?
So Tim, you already brought it up, but yeah, my point was going to be that I think it makes sense that Riley doesn't want people talking to the media, because when they do, Grinch says something like, "Oh, we weren't ready for."
He didn't see it on tape
for Saki's wheel route. Because we haven't seen it on film, which is funny for two reasons. One, because like it's not like you might have never seen a wheel route ever, and just have like responsibilities where someone has him, whoever it is. But even aside from that point, like the other hilarious part of it is, they literally ran it against Cal the week before. So you have that. And then, so Cal's coming off a bye. And this isn't really the same Cal defense that you might expect under Wilcox. Not ever saying they lit the world on fire, but I think they're usually generally pretty respected. And this defense is not that. So I do think SC is going to have success moving the ball, but I do like every single one of Cal's backs, and I do like their chance to run the ball. They're underdogs by 11. And when the schedule came out, I started making the joke even in the offseason that this was going to be the spot that SC slipped up randomly and Cal was going to take it down. And Utah and Notre Dame have kind of ruined that joke a little bit, but I'm still going to make it. And even though people told me it was impossible, in the wise words of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. And Cal wins this game off the back of Jaden Ott and the rest of its backfield and takes it down. Go Bears.
He's taking the Bears.
Wow. Okay. Well, again, it's only an 11-point spread, which, if you had told me this game was going to be an 11-point spread back in August, I might have not been so harsh with you, Chris, when I said I don't see them losing. I just think that we have one more week, Caleb getting right, his hand getting right. And I just don't have a lot of faith in that Cal defense. That Cal defense is, to say it's not the typical Cal defense is I think, an understatement. I think that you're probably going to see USC jump out to a pretty early lead, and USC wins and covers this game.
I picked USC in this game, but I have little confidence. I just do. I hope Lincoln Riley knows this game is circled. I don't even know if he's going to make the trip. He's apparently ill. I don't know what his sickness is. I hope he feels better. There's a lot of questions, a lot of noise. That's what you come to get. That's what you get when you come to LA. You get noise, and there's expectations. And right now, Lincoln Riley's not meeting those expectations. And Cal had a bye. The game's in Berkeley. This could be the last game there in my lifetime. I picked USC to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cal wins this game. This is the 20th anniversary of that triple overtime loss in 2003. And, we lost by a field goal in triple overtime. USC's offense doesn't impress me the last 3-4 games. We can't run the ball. I think, Tim, you pointed out we ran for a quarter. That doesn't get it done. And we run against Colorado, and Notre Dame, exposed our offensive line. So there's a lot of questions. What is the motivation for USC? Are they motivated? What's the locker room like? What's the culture like? So the fact that we're favored by 11, that's great. I'll take a 1-point win at this point.
Well, it was diagnosed. They came out and said that he had pneumonia. He was at practice. So Riley was back at practice today. He was out with pneumonia. That's what the illness was that he had. And I don't know if he's good. I don't know if he's cleared to travel and go. I don't know that yet. But two things: one, he had pneumonia. He was at practice today.
He had pneumonia.
Pardon?
They said he had pneumonia.
Correct. Yeah, they disclosed that he had pneumonia, and I don't know. They put up 100 yards in the first quarter against the number one rush defense team in the conference. I think that Oregon will be able to do that as well.
But if you live up to the longer it goes, the better we get. That doesn't suit the mantra. So nobody remembers the first quarter. It's the fourth quarter.
Are you going to have your is the former NFL coach on your staff that's kind of just sitting around? Is he going to end up being the replacement head coach for a week if Riley can't travel?
Supposedly Dennis Simmons is the acting head coach when Riley was out of practice.
We're not going to let Cliff get a shot.
I would guess that the greatest medical doctors that they can put together in Los Angeles will will have him ready to go, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Again, they made claims that he was suffering from pneumonia. I hope he feels better. We're assuming that that's accurate, but it'll be interesting to see if coach will be back. I'll tell you, when I look at this game, I'm skittish because USC should win this game. USC should run away with this game, but they haven't run away with games they should be running away with. The offense has been terrible, and the defense has been worse. There's just no excuse for it. None. So I do think USC is going to win, but I think it's going to be a whole lot closer than we expect. And I think that's kind of fitting for the last game at Cal. If we go back to 1912, there was a track meet between USC and Cal. And USC was very much still an upstart little school, couple of buildings in the middle of a mustard field outside a dirty, waterless village. And USC had this big showdown track meet with Cal, and they actually made it to the very end. USC was still called the Fighting Methodists at the time. And it came down to the very, very last relay. And at the very last relay, Cal was able to pull off the win, and they got their big win, even though Cal was supposed to just run away with it. And Owen Bird from the LA Times wrote that the Methodists fought like valiant Trojans. And that was when the name stuck. So I think for the last big showdown of USC and Cal, it'll be fitting if Cal makes it a whole lot closer than we want them to. But I'm still taking the Trojans to win in a game for history. All right. Next up, Tim, we got a show coming up.
Yeah, hey, Friday night, we had a huge response, you guys. Thanks to everyone that showed up. We had 26 new guys join up as subscribers last week. We're doing another one this time for Cal. It's a Cal preview. This is the last weekender, so we're going to take calls from people about experiences up at Cal, Stanford as well. And it's a big part of USC history is going up for that weekender, and it's coming sadly to an end. This is the last one, but we will be covering everything from possible changes for coaching staff temporarily to issues with the offense and running the ball. So make sure you check in with us. Matt and I will be live at it's 5 o'clock today, this time, 5 o'clock on Friday. And we'll be taking your phone calls. 8 o'clock Eastern. Yep.
All right, guys, check it out on the USC channel. All right, next up, we've got another interesting one. Guys, does this have trap game written all over it? Washington making their last trip to the farm. What do we think is going to go down?
No, I don't think it has trap game written all over it. You guys have played this team. UCLA has played this team, the Stanford team.
They're kind of bad.
I know Washington was coming off like what some people would call like a letdown game, and let Arizona State hang around, and kind of was very fortunate to get out of the desert with a win. This Stanford team, in my opinion, is much worse than that Arizona State team. I know other people disagree with that, but I got Washington, and I think it's going to be easy for them.
Yeah, the only thing going down is Stanford. Stanford showed who they are yet again last week, and Washington, I believe they're getting McMillan back, which is the third part of that, that trio of receivers that they have: Odunze, Polk, and McMillan. And I think they roll.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing here. Washington.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I correct myself. Larry corrected me. No, that's what made Washington, what Arizona State did was even more impressive. Not escape the desert, but the desert came to Seattle, and what Arizona State did was really impressive. But I still think Washington wakes up, and I don't think that's a sign of bad things to come for Washington personally.
No, I look at this, and I look at how well the Washington offense is going to do against the Stanford defense, and I think they're going to score a zillion points because Stanford cannot stop Washington. Stanford may not be atrocious in this game, but I think Washington is going to win and cover and then some. So we'll see. It could be an interesting one, but again, it's Pac-12, and we never know what can happen. This game is on FS1. All right. In the Rose Bowl, we got a little screw up in there. We got Colorado and UCLA. Guys, will the Fighting Deions survive a trip to Pasadena? Deion's only trip to Pasadena.
So it's for his only trip to the Rose Bowl, we sold it out.
With the tarps or with
some of the tarps are coming off, actually. There's going to be 70,000 strong or so. I don't know if you heard the rumor. I said it in chat earlier, but there was a rumor going around that the reason that Michigan canceled its home and home against UCLA was because with the empty stadium, it would have been too obvious to see what they were doing. But if they did it this week, they'd be able to hide some people. So it's homecoming. It's a sellout. There's some sweet throwback jerseys they're doing. Colorado's coming off its bye, obviously. I don't think that the Colorado team that people saw in the first 3 weeks or thought that what that Colorado team might be, the shine's kind of fallen off of that a little bit. And what's interesting to me is a little like not inside, but Colin Schley, who people thought maybe broke his sternum a couple of weeks ago, didn't play last week, is healthy, and so maybe it's only like a bruised sternum. Said he might play, so it'll be him and Garbers, not the man actually pictured on the screen playing quarterback. And Schley can run it, and it's interesting because if he gets the opportunity to play in this game, he'll be facing his ex-head coach from Kent State, who now calls plays for the Buffs. At the game itself, I think Colorado makes some plays on it. Yeah, I think Colorado makes some plays on offense, but our defense is real good, and I think that they don't protect the quarterback very well, and I think UCLA is going to be able to get after Sanders enough to make this pretty comfortable. There might be some plays. It might get hairy from time to time early on, but I think that we're a better team and we should win by 2 or 3 scores.
Yeah, I see a heavy dose of running. Harden, Steele, and Schley, if he's healthy, like you said, I think you guys run for a lot of yards against the Buffaloes. And really, what we've been talking about all year is they have a great front. Their starting lineup was pretty solid to start the year, but just like football's a game of attrition. They're losing players, during the season. Those that are playing, they're playing banged up. They don't have a lot of depth. These guys have a lot of snap counts on them, and there's a lot of film now. At the beginning of the year, there wasn't a lot of film on Colorado. Well, all that stuff's now there. UCLA wins and covers.
Yeah, UCLA's I love their defense, physical defense, good front seven, and they have depth. And you pointed out, Tim, this is the back end of the schedule. They don't have depth, even though Colorado's coming off a bye week. You watch UCLA, they will run the ball, unlike USC. So they'll run the ball against Colorado. It'll be the winning formula, and they will wear down Colorado. And if Colorado was to make a bowl game, this is a game that they probably would have to win. You're looking at this, Oregon State and at Arizona. You got to win 2 of those. I don't see them winning at Washington State and at Utah at the end of the season. So this is a big one. You're recruiting out in LA, but Colorado just not going to have enough against UCLA. Bruins.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Rick, can you hear me? Okay, sorry, my computer's being weird for a sec. I agree with you guys. Taking a look at Colorado, they're not they kind of are almost the team that we thought they were. Maybe a little better than we originally thought they were, but they're not the team that the media certainly hoped they would be earlier in the season. And I think UCLA has a good defense, which I think is going to tear Colorado's offensive line apart. And I don't think Colorado is going to have much success against UCLA overall. So I'm taking the Bruins. But as always, the Bruins usually find a way to disappoint when I take them. So, you could be all set on that one, Buffs. Giving you my curse. All right, that is on ABC, another big game. And then we've got an interesting one on the Pac-12 network, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. Gang, we got Wazoo and Arizona State, two teams that I don't know what to make of. What do you guys think about this one?
All right. I had a lot of trouble picking this game, to be honest. I know it was a letdown spot for Washington when Arizona State went up there, but what Arizona State did in that game is pretty impressive. Though Washington State themselves hung with Oregon for about a half in that game also. So like ASU's defense is about average stats wise, and their offense is bad, but kind of doing more with less with Dillingham calling plays. That especially better than they were to begin the year. And on the other side, Wazoo's offense overall I think that's kind of the question for this game for me is whether Washington State's offense is more so really the kind of more average offense that we've seen the last few weeks, or if it's the better good offense that we saw the last, like through the Oregon State game. Where I'm not really sure, but I have this sneaking suspicion on this game, and no real good reason for it, other than I think Arizona State's played a bunch of teams close and hard, and they're eventually going to break through. And Washington State, even though I hype them as the most underappreciated team in this conference, probably around week 4 or 5, I think that they might have fooled me a little bit, and I think I'm going to take the Devils to upset here at home.
I thought for sure you were going to take Washington State. Well, I mean, I'm also not really excited. The reason why I'm not taking Washington State is because they are still banged up. They're playing, but they guys that are playing banged up. But you know what? Since you picked them, Chris, I was going to take ASU. I'm going to take them. I'm just going to, for the hell of it, I'm going to take Washington State. It's not what I was going to do. I swear I thought you were going to take Washington State. So I'm just going to make it fun this way. I have something to look at this weekend. I'm going to go with Washington State.
I like the Cougs. I'm taking Washington State.
All right. This is one I've been really up in the air about for the same reason you guys talked about. Like, I mean, Arizona State has been so close in a lot of games. It strikes me as eventually they're going to get one, and they've just been on the edge of one. Washington State has been reeling; they're kind of banged up, and I've just been sort of flip a coin in this one. But at the end of the day, I think that Washington State's too good at QB, and Arizona State is not. And so I think I'm going to side with you guys, and I'm going to take the Cougs. Although I will not be surprised, and I will celebrate if Kenny Dillingham gets his win. All right. Next up, we've got a wild one in the desert, gang. Pac-12 after dark. Oregon State makes their last trip to the desert. What do we think is going to go down here? Is Arizona finally going to get their big win?
So I think Utah and Oregon is the biggest game, right? But I think that this is maybe the most intriguing game to me. So Arizona, both the teams are coming off of a bye. Arizona is starting to get more and more attention with the way that they've been playing. But stylistically, I think that this Oregon State team is, especially their O-line, is probably the most physical thing Arizona is going to have seen. They've played a lot. Like, I think their defense has done well, but I think they've played a lot of teams that like to throw the ball, and I think that Oregon State's going to present them a little bit more. And that's not to say other teams that they played before, like SC, can't run the ball, but they kind of they kind of choose to throw maybe or like want to more as like their identity, then I think this Oregon State team, though like that's a little bit more true of their team last year than it is this year. I think it's still more true of them than the other teams that Arizona's played. So yeah, I've been kind of hinting at talking this Arizona team up for the last couple of weeks. I think that they're good. It's at home. It's Pac-12 after dark against, an 11 seed team, where the 11 seed team's only a 3.5 point favorite. But I'm going to take the Beavs to handle it up front and control the game and squeak out of the desert in a hard one.
For the exact same reason, for selfish reasons, want Arizona to win this game. I think that Oregon State's, although they do not have the superior quarterback, I do like all the other pieces. I think that they'll be able to run the ball. I think they will establish that defense. I think they're gonna drown that Arizona offense is gonna want to go fast. I think they're gonna control the ball, and I see Oregon State barely winning this game.
I agree with Chris. This is the most intriguing game of the Pac-12 slate this weekend. And you have Arizona coming on strong, playing really well, going up there to the Palouse and destroying the Cougs. They're 4-3. You look at this game, here's a possibility. You're in the desert. You've got Oregon State. This is a Trinity League showdown with Fafita from Servite against DJU from Tim's alma mater, Bosco. And this is a game that DJU has to show out because you're going down in the desert and you got Fafita who's on fire right now. And he's got some great receivers in T-Mac and Cowing, and he's not afraid. And he's rolling. He's playing with house money. And Arizona, they're loving this right now. And this is the game that they're going to knock them off. They're going to knock off Oregon State. I don't see DJU bringing it. I don't see him stepping up. In fact, he's going to throw a couple picks. And I see Arizona win by like 8 points. So, as they would say in Tucson, bear down. Sorry, Beavs. Sorry, Connor Johnson. But Cinderella is losing her slipper in Tucson this weekend. Check the bar.
Yeah, I've been torn on this one too. This is gonna be a good game. I can't wait to watch this one. But Arizona's gonna get somebody, and I mean they stomped Wazoo, just stomped Wazoo. And so looking at this, if this were in Corvallis, I would say take the Beavs. But this is in the desert, and weird things happen in the desert. So I'm going to say back the A and bear down. I think Arizona finds a way to do it in one of those wild, inexplicable Pac-12 after dark games where Oregon State leaves and says, thank God we don't have to go back to the desert. But we'll see. It'll make power rankings next week an absolute nightmare. And that is exactly what Pac-12 after dark is supposed to do. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. All right. Well, those are the games. So, gang, we're going to do power rankings in just a sec. But if you want to call into the show, we'd love to have you. We'll put this back up in just a minute. But we'd love to chat with you guys right after we do power rankings. So without further ado, gang, let's dig in. We've got some changes to the power rankings this week. Some big changes. I know some of you guys in the chat have been waiting for this. So let's take a peek. At the bottom of the scale, we've got 3 teams in kind of a little mumble jumbo. We've got Colorado, Arizona State, and Stanford mixed up. Gang, what do we think about these 3 at the bottom?
Same thing I thought all year.
I'm pretty close to moving ASU up to 10 like you did, Tim, to be honest.
I mean, of the 3, again, they are who we thought they are. I think we didn't have this kind of order at the beginning of the year, I don't think, but it's kind of, it's just settling. It's settling down to where we thought it would be. It's the top part that's totally in flux, and I have no idea what the hell's going on up there.
All right. Well, number 9, we have a little bit of consensus. It's the California Golden Bears. Although, Chris, what's going to happen if they pull off a win? Are they going to move up?
Probably not.
At least he's honest. I like it.
No, they might. Well, it depends what Washington State does, I guess.
All right. We'll see. Should be a good one. Number 8, across the board, we've got Wazoo, which is going to be interesting. Number 7, Arizona. But Tim, you got more faith in the Cats. Gang, what do we think about these two? They rise and fall, we buy or selling.
Arizona's been hot. That's the reason why I have them where they are. They have been hot, but they're not a team I would ever put money on. Let's put it that way. But they're hot, you know. And the whole so as we get towards the top here, I go more towards. I just started doing resume because that's what everyone in the chat wants to hear. I folded. No, I went to the top resume more because it's too hard to figure out. These teams are so helter skelter, except for one team. But Arizona, you know, they can get hot. They can beat anybody. And so far this whole year, what I've been saying is on any given Saturday on a neutral field, who do you feel is going to win? And the way Arizona's playing, you know, it's just hard to put them any lower than that.
I picked against them this week, right? But I am not looking forward to UCLA going out to Tucson to play that team.
Weirder things have happened.
It wouldn't even be that weird. They're like, they're probably good.
All right. Next up, ouch. We've got Trojans across the board down at 6. Guys, this is not where we thought they'd be at the beginning of the year.
This is where my list starts getting a little more resume. There's no way you could have USC above the teams above them the way they're playing and the way USC's been playing the last 2 weeks. So I couldn't justify it.
Yeah, they're in the middle of the pack. They're in the middle of the Pac-12 team. They've underperformed. They haven't improved, and so that's where I've got them 6.
I'm real curious to see what happens here. If USC looks bad, they're going to fall further for mine because they just are not finding. They're not blocking. They're not tackling, and you can't be atop the conference if you're not going to block anybody or tackle anybody.
You lose to Utah last year, right? Cycles on the last play of the game.
It doesn't matter.
And then you lose. Oh, well, you lose at home against Utah on the last play of the game without Cam Rising. So that says a lot.
All right. Moving on up then, boys, as the teams that have been winning. We've got the Bruins. You know, it makes me, I feel like I gotta take a shower. I got them highest. Tim, you got them lowest. Gang, do we know what to make of this UCLA Bruins yet? I don't think we do.
I believe in their defense. Oh God, I don't believe in their offense. I almost said it the wrong way around.
You know what, Tim? If you had, we wouldn't have noticed because we knew what you meant.
I don't know. I can't. I want to see. I thought that Moore would be a little farther than he is in development. That would have changed everything. I really love the receivers, but they're almost going wasted, Chris. You know, you had someone slinging the ball to them. I would definitely have you guys higher, but the quarterback play is important in football.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to get too excited one way or the other because, like, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. Is like I think in a lot of games we've looked really, really good, and especially on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that we've gone on the road and lost to, you know, teams that are like 10th through 15th in the nation, or, you know, like on the road in hard places to play, like Corvallis and Utah. I think they've combined to lose like 1 game in the last like 30 that they've played at those places or something like that, or 2. You know, like I think the only one I can think of for Oregon State is that SC game last year, and I think for Utah they've won like 18 in a row at home. So we've lost those 2 games in games that we like could have won but didn't deserve to win. And if we had done things differently on offense than we might have, I would be interested on your guys' take of the of the quarterback change, because in a way, like, I understand why we did it, but it's also the timing was interesting because like Garbers comes in now and gets to face like there's like no great defense left on the schedule, right? Like Moore kind of came in and I thought he should play. I guess my point is like I don't know that Moore would look any worse right now than Garbers does as the replacement because of the level of defenses that we're going to be playing from here on out. But that's sort of an aside. I don't know what the right decision was, to be honest. I can hear the debate on both ends. But Garbers took care of the ball against Stanford, and hopefully he continues to do that. And I think we can be a pretty damn good team if we take care of the ball and run the ball and rely on our defense to keep things going.
All right. Next up, we've got the Utes. You know, their offense is bad, but they're finding ways to win. I'm buying the Utes. I'm not selling them, surprisingly. Although we're not seeing rising back. Gang, do we think does Utah pull? Can they pull the upset?
I can see them pulling the upset. I can. They got that defense. They're gonna have the crowd back there, and hey, crazy things happen there. It's the Pac-12.
They can. I don't think that they will, but they definitely can, and they've been proving people wrong all year. Yeah, I don't think that they will, but I think it's just a super ringing endorsement for things we already knew. But you know, Whittingham, pretty good coach, pretty good program they have going there with the amount of kids that can just step up and make something happen. It's been real impressive what they've done this year. And we'll see if they keep it going. If they win that game against Oregon, that'll be amazing. The end of the season is going to get real crazy.
Well, I mean, I think I love Whittingham, but it's really what Ludwig and Scally have done. Scally, especially, he's been doing defense for ages. But how Ludwig's just finding creative ways to pump life into this offense, because there's a lot of love for Bryson Barnes. And I will say I've got respect for him playing out of his mind, and he played great against USC. But I got news for you that he is not a very good quarterback. He just isn't. And but what Ludwig is doing, just being creative with Vaki and all the different ways they're handling that offense, is amazing. And like you guys said, the coaching staff there has been, you know, just lights out the last at least 4 or 5 years minimum in the Pac-12. So if Oregon can find out the Vaki thing, which apparently USC and Cal could not, now they've got 2 sets of tape. Now they've seen a lot of those wheel routes. Hopefully they will. Lupoi will have noticed something in Lanning and figured out that, hey, you cannot put a defensive end or a rush end on Vaki when he does that wheel route. Make sure you have someone that actually can run with him.
Yeah, all I saw was 34 on that. And getting back to Utah here, this is going to be an unbelievable game because they're both 3-0, Oregon and Utah. So this is like a heavyweight fight. This is a knockout game. You don't want to lose 2 games going to the Pac-12 at this point of the season. And Whittingham, you know, Dan Lanning talks a lot about his defense and he gets his guys fired up. Kyle Whittingham doesn't talk much. He's built that culture. They are tough, and they will find a way to win this game. Don't ask me how, but that defense is going to shut down Oregon. They're going to limit Oregon, and the crowd is going to be behind them. I just see this as, okay, come on, Oregon. Come on, Lanning, puff out your chest. This isn't Colorado. This is Utah. You're going to come into our house. It's not at Autzen. And I like Kyle Whittingham's bow chest more than Dan Lanning. So comes down to it, got to go with the Utes, man. Just
all right. Now at number 3 across the board, we've got the Beavs, even though I think they might get upset by number 7. So we'll see. So we got the Beavs across the board at number 3, and then number 1 and number 2, a little bit of debate. Is it the Ducks or the Dogs? We got Alex waiting, guys, but give me your quick takes here on number 1 versus number 2.
Until proven otherwise, I think there's a separation of 1 and 2 from the rest. But like it's fun. When I list them like this, I like to try to like put in groups of like, I think like 7 can beat all the way up to like 3. But I don't know. I don't see that I like it's harder when I start to try to pick like which level can be Oregon and Washington, and it might only be 3 and 4. SC I think might match up well with Washington. I kind of I think after they lose to Cal this weekend, they might rise from the ashes like a phoenix to ruin some Husky hopes and dreams in true epic like Pac-12 fashion. But they gotta suffer through the Bears loss first to have it be darkish right before the dawn.
This is going to be okay. So I switched this week, and here's my thought on it. Again, I know that Washington's without McMillan for a little bit, but it's shown one receiver can't be that big of a deal. Whereas I see with Oregon, slowly every game, although they really haven't played anyone except for Washington, they've beaten teams and they've handled teams the way a good defense should handle teams. They also handled that Washington team the way you would want them to stand up to. The issue I'm going to have is we're going to see it here. I want to see this Oregon Duck team go up against this defense. I mean, I think that clearly they are head and shoulders the best defense in the league. They're one of the best in the country. I want to see what they can do again, with their new coordinator, what they could do up against a solid defense. This will be interesting. I'll be very curious. This is by far and away, obviously, the best. They have not played a good defense yet. I mean, I don't think Washington has a good defense. I think they're like top 40 defense, top 35-ish defense. But this is going to be a top-notch defense. I want to see what they can do. But they just look at the best. I said it earlier in the week. They're the best well-rounded team in the Pac-12, and I don't think it's really close when it comes to the whole package.
All right. Well, on that note, let's break in. We got Alex waiting to give us a call, gang. We'll put the link in the chat, but we'd love to hear from you guys, hear what you think about the Pac-12 this week. Let's bring on our favorite California Golden Bear. We've got Alex. Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How you doing? You ready for a big game in Strawberry Canyon?
Well, it's not quite the epic Titanic matchup of unbeaten teams I thought it would be in the preseason, but hey, it's always SC and Cal, right? So
we'll take it.
I said this to someone years ago, like no matter where these teams are, this is a matchup that I always look forward to, regardless of, what happens. And I mean, we'll be swapping SC for some other teams in the coming years, but this is like I've told a lot of people this. If there was one matchup I could keep aside from big game from the Pac, it would be this one. So, and again, regardless of the result, this is a game I always look forward to. Except, I was going to talk about where this Cal team is from what I saw against Utah. And by the way, and I'll get into why, but I'm over Wilcox, and I saw some infuriating stuff a couple of weeks ago that I could not like. It's been a very long time since I was very incensed with a game I was watching, but I'll kind of step back a bit. But this team just, when there are issues that pop up and seem to be maybe worked out, other issues arise, and so far it's been like just a mess everywhere. And I mean, I went from like against Auburn, that was pitched battle. Offenses were conservative, but defenses were smacking the defenses were just smacking each other around. It was just awesome to see that. If you love gritty football, it was great. And we outplayed them, but the problem was we went 1 for 4 for kicking. And even against North Texas, we were 1 for 3. So we start the year place kicking is 2 of 7. All right. So it's already 2 games in. We don't have a kicking game. And then we go to Washington, and we're still trying to figure out the quarterbacks. And it starts out wonderfully because we start Ben Finley, who throws a pick 6. And then on the second drive, we spun her out and then gave up a punt return touchdown. So QB issues, special teams, it's going great, right? But then something crazy happens. We actually go down and score. And I'm thinking, okay, 14-7 in Seattle, maybe we can do something. But no, we blow the extra point. It's game 4 and we can't make extra points. And then Washington, they obliterated our secondary. I seriously thought they were going to go for 70, 80 points on this. They were just lighting our asses on fire. It was just wild. But I was telling like an Oregon buddy, dude, Washington is for real. They're going to run this damn thing. Penix is the guy. And he thought I was full of smoke, but then he found out the hard way because Washington is that good. And so that loss didn't bother me too much. But then when Oregon State came into Berkeley and we start our third string at quarterback and the offense comes to life. We score 40 against Oregon State, which basically manhandled Utah the week before. But the problem was they gave up 52 points. And DJ Uiagalelei he looked like Matt Leinart, dude. He just, again, second game in 2 weeks, our secondary is just like torn asunder. And then against Utah, they're still working in the QB with Bryson Barnes, and they start Vaki with the running back end. It's pretty apparent by the second half they're just going to run Vaki a bunch and the Wildcat stuff, which it was more one-dimensional against us versus you guys. I kind of saw some highlights where Bryson Barnes was opening it up and they made the final drive. But against Utah, when we were at Utah, they were just doing the Wildcat all game. And late in the fourth quarter, we missed a 30-yard kick where he would have come within 7 and still have a shot at it. But then Utah goes back in the Wildcat, direct snap to Vaki. I'm like, okay, we'll
Vaki's good.
He won't get a few yards. No, he rips it for 70 yards.
So what's your prediction for the SC game? Give us your prediction.
SC will score. We might score, but I don't know the result because, again, our secondary so far has been awful against good quarterbacks. Defensive front has not been good either. We gave up 320 yards rushing against Utah. Offense might be okay. I mean, that's the only positive now is the offense now is starting to, like against Oregon State, they came to life. But everything else about this team is a question mark or just all over the place. I mean, it's, I don't know how, I mean, think of it this way. If Caleb Williams, if the over-under on total touchdowns was 4.5, I take the over. I just think it's, there's going to be, I don't know, I don't think SC's checked out that much, but for our guys coming out of bye week, I just want to know, can we actually play a decent game? And I don't know, man.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that the defense is not
it's shocking.
As good as it has been in prior years. Right?
It's fallen off so much. We gave up 50 points twice in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks.
I think it's slightly better than SC's defense, and people can take that however they want.
I know, man. No.
But the thing is your offense is not as explosive. So I think in order for you guys to hang in this game, if you have a chance of winning it, I think you have to your point about the fact that Caleb might throw for 5 touchdowns against you. I agree, but I think you have to try to keep him off the field and not give them very many possessions and get lucky in the possessions that you do have against them. I think that's sort of how the kind of game you need to have Cal pull this off. And I don't know if you agree with this or not, but this might make the SC people smile. I'm not sure. I know for people that I'm close to that are Cal people, I think they would tell you that SC, a lot of people SC fans do it, and I hate when they do it when they talk about we're every team's Super Bowl, everybody gets up for us or whatever.
Because
right?
we are.
It's not true. It's not true of everyone, but there is some truth to that with respect to Cal.
Absolutely.
Because I know from former player perspective, at least some of them that I know, the Cal Stanford rivalry is kind of more like playing with your brother in the backyard or whatever and wanting to beat him. But I think they'd much rather beat SC every year than make sure that they beat Stanford.
I mean, that's just like playing SC. That's really it. Not really, that's it. But it's
always an epic showdown.
Yeah, and you just said something earlier that Well, I mean, we're still in the crucible because we have to then go to Eugene next week. But the only reason why, looking at the list of games we had in the second half of this year and why this one could be more manageable than the others, was because I thought SC may be a bit soft on their lines and maybe we can take advantage of a few things. And that's the case. But again, our defense is a mess. I don't know what, like Caleb Williams, like he likes it when the pocket breaks out. He could just go and do his thing. And he again, unless SC just checks out, I mean, they don't even need to watch game tape. They know this, they know they can score on us. So what are we going to do? I don't know.
Couple things, Alex, if I could hop in here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're reading Scott Wolf or Bill Plaschke or where you're getting this. The team's checked out. I would think after losing 2 games in a row, they're pissed. And I'm probably gonna say I probably wouldn't want to be Cal. Couple of things also, we just played 2 incredibly good defenses. Cal's like what in the 100 range as far as defenses go. We've just played Notre Dame in South Bend, and we just played the best defense by far in our conference. I think that maybe the funeral march for USC's offense might be a bit premature.
Oh no, SC will score. You guys are scoring this weekend.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that I think that there's a lot of words going around how this team is quit on this and that ball. I do think that there's some issues. I do think there's some stuff going on. That's probably not the healthiest thing in the world, on the team right now. I get it. There's a lot of, that's what happens with losing, there's you're going to have locker rooms are upset. But the things these guys have checked out, I would just say maybe pump the brakes on that. I'm not saying they haven't. I don't have inside information. I'm just saying I'm thinking this is gonna be a really pissed off team, and I'm not sure Cal has the ability to do what those 2 teams did. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, SC doesn't need to play a great game to still score a ton, I think, unless something really dramatically happened in the bye week. So, I mean, if the offense that scored 40 on Oregon State shows up, hey, it's a game. But the defense, I mean, we didn't get to DJ Uiagalelei whatsoever. He sat in the pocket all day long during that game. So
their line's better than ours, though, man. So that's a good offensive line. We've had issues on the right side of our line, and really kind of been popping up some issues at left guard as well. There's not really good communication. They're shuffling guys. They've moved people around on the line, and you just don't do that. I mean, they've been doing it all year. So yeah, I don't worry about him having a lot of time back to throw, because I don't think he will. But at the same time, Caleb is mobile, and I think our running backs, are pretty damn good as well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Alex, we got folks waiting. Thank you again. We're glad to have you, and give us a call. We're going to do post-game live afterwards. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'll try to join, and then we can, depending on the result, talk bigger picture with Cal, because I mean, it's not looking too great right now. But yeah, we'll chat later.
It'll be fun. All right, go Bears!
Thanks for the call.
Fight on. We'll see you soon. All right, that was Alex Rea from the University of California. Next up, we've got Sean Garner. Sean, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
What are your takes on the games this week? Who are you looking forward to?
Well, obviously, probably the national game of the week is the Oregon.
Who have you got?
Utah setup. I don't know. I mean, like, if this game was in Autzen, this would, kind of be a cursory game. I mean, I would be paying attention to it. I don't know how. I would very heavily favor the Ducks. The Rice Eccles thing is real.
It is.
Yes. It does kind of suck for you guys. You guys can never get any of those big noon games because of the time zone issue. But
we had one, and you can have it.
Yeah. Wait, you guys did have a big noon game?
Yeah, USC Colorado was big news.
Oh, that's right. It was. Yeah.
And I think they'd rather not do that again.
Of course.
Who knows whether that was the time or whether that was just a bad defense. Flip a coin.
Well, or just getting complacent on a huge lead and almost letting it evaporate on you. But I don't know.
Who you got in this game?
Oh, I mean, I definitely have Oregon. I just think they're so much more complete than Utah is right now. But it's very interesting right now. Bo Nix, I don't know if I've ever seen a QB make a transformation like this over his career. He was so reckless and wild at Auburn. I mean, that's where the good Bo, bad Bo meme.
Let me challenge that with one that stuns everyone from Pac-12 country.
Mm-hmm.
LBC, who do we all view as a terrible quarterback that the rest of the country is going bananas for right now?
Oh, I know this.
Yeah. But who's he really playing?
See? You cannot tell Pac-12 people that Daniels is a good quarterback at LSU. Like it just causes the mind to explode. And I feel like that's exactly how SEC people feel when they watch Bo Nix go to Oregon and just be absolutely Mr. Superman. It's like the bizarro world switch. You know, we're talking about Daniels the hero and Nix the hero, and the other sides are like, who are you talking about?
But I mean, like, he's Bo Nix has really sort of made a massive trend. He's almost kind of like a game manager or check down guy who has the ability to beat you with with a giant arm and make a few big plays a game. And like I mean, you watch him play at Oregon and he looks, very conservative most of the time.
He's playing great.
What?
He's playing great.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And that's why I think Oregon is going to pull this game out. And I think, I don't think Nix is going to get them into trouble in this game. And I think they're going to retain possession enough. They're going to keep the drives going. And Utah doesn't have enough offense to. I mean, they have zero big play ability. Am I right here? Like, I have not seen them.
Well, we'll see.
And let's just see the wheel route that they're running.
It depends who you ask.
It depends on the defensive coordinator, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Against average or above defenses, they have no big play threat. Basically, right?
I don't know. I saw Utah play and I saw no one tackle them, so I'm a bad judge.
No, but I mean that's no, so that's obviously the game of the week.
It'll be a fun one.
Yeah. I'll be very interested. I don't know. I mean, I think Utah made a good decision going back to Bryson Barnes. I think they have a little bit more offensive juice, but I don't think it'll be enough this week, even with the Rice-Eccles advantage.
All right, we'll see, and let us know after the game. We'll see you then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for calling in. We're glad to have you.
You have a great one.
All right, fight on. See you soon.
Tony, yeah. I thought for sure you were talking about the other Daniels. I thought you were going to say JT Daniels, who's like number 13 or 12 in the country in passing.
No, I was looking at Baton Rouge.
That's what I'm saying. Well, who has he played? All right, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were just ripping on the SEC.
Yeah, sorry.
That would be a good guess.
That's also a fair comment. Yeah, right.
I should have stuck with that. Yeah, but no, I thought you were talking about JT Daniels at Rice.
The puzzled look between the SEC and the Pac-12 over Daniels and Nix. And are you talking about the same person? Yeah, when I talk to my SEC friends, they're like, really, we do not understand this. And I'm like, yeah, we don't understand the ASU guy who stunk is somehow the hero down in Baton Rouge. So it'll be interesting. All right. Hey, let's bring on, we got Jackson Johnson. Jackson, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on, gents. How's it going on this fine night?
Going well. What do you think about this Utah-Oregon game coming up?
I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with this game, but I wish that it was on like Sean said, I wish it was on big noon kickoff, but you know what? It is what it is. I just want to see Gus Johnson and Joe Klatt call this game.
I wish Gus Johnson was not calling this game, to be honest with you, but okay. I like Klatt.
Aww.
Not really big Gus Johnson.
Gus Johnson is the best. Gus Johnson is the best person to have calling your March Madness basketball game.
But football.
And I think he is. I don't pay attention very much when he's talking about football. But I do like Klatt.
Yeah. But I will say that Utah defense is really awesome, but so is that Oregon defense. I couldn't help but notice that Oregon's defense is magnificent this season.
Like I was trying to talk in the chat, they're 23rd in the country in yards per play. You know, it's a pretty damn solid stat.
That is solid. I mean, I'm impressed with it. I mean, it's going to be pretty big. If it was in Autzen, I'd be picking Oregon. But the fact that it's in Rice-Eccles, it makes me lean towards Utah for that one.
All right. Any others you want to make prediction on?
Not at the moment, but there's a couple games I also want to look at. Oregon State, Arizona, and Colorado, UCLA.
All right, we can take a peek at those two. We got Oregon State, Utah. Who are you taking to that one? Oregon State, Arizona. Who are you taking to that one?
I'm kind of torn on that one because Arizona gives everybody a hard time, especially at home. I mean, after what I saw against Washington and against USC in that overtime battle, it's got me a little nervous. I mean, but there is one bright side that Oregon State's got. I mean, well, they got plenty of bright sides. Well, they are number one on the red zone offense. That's always going to help right there.
Yeah, Arizona's like what 3-3 on the year, but I think like power ratings wise, power ratings wise, I think they're probably like somewhere in the low 30s in terms of just like, you know, neutral field, random teams throughout the country, match them up. No, I think this Arizona team is actually pretty good, or at least they have been. I just think stylistically it's a little bit of a different game than they've been playing. But they're a good team. I don't think that they're a great team or a very, very good team, but they're a good team.
Oh, if you underestimate this Arizona team, they will chew you up like a chicken nugget. I mean,
they're good enough to beat Oregon State.
Yeah,
well,
I think they may. It'll be wild in the desert. What do you think about that Colorado game?
Well, I think that 17 for UCLA is a little too high, but I understand why the odds makers have UCLA favored as double digits. I mean, the Colorado defense is terrible. It's absolutely horrendous. It's yuck.
How many sacks does your boy Latu have, Tim?
He's gonna get 3. I think you guys might. I think you guys might get double-digit sacks in this game. I'm not joking. I mean, I literally think because Shedeur hangs on to the ball. I mean, you know, there's a very good chance you guys get double digits.
That's why I have UCLA ranked number 5. Their defense on a neutral field, they beat USC. It's the defense.
Yeah, UCLA's defense is magnificent. I mean,
it is.
I learned about it big time when they went up against Washington State. Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it on my phone. I was like, wow. They put a stomping on Cam Ward. They can do that, Cam Ward. They'll definitely do that to Shedeur Sanders. I would not want to be in the room for that one if I'm Shedeur Sanders.
There's still only one team that scored more than one offensive touchdown against us in a game.
Oh, who's that?
Oregon State's the only team that scored more than one offensive touchdown against us. Utah won 14-7, but one of them was a pick 6. No, the defense, total points, like as a stat generally, is kind of silly. But the idea that like over the course of the season, there's only been one team so far that has scored more than one touchdown against us is the defense has been very, very impressive. I think Arizona will test that, and I think SC will test that. I think Colorado will make some plays in this game, but I'm less concerned with them overall compared to that Arizona team and SC. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun night. I mean, especially watching a little bit of Pac-12 after dark, watching Arizona, see what they do. I mean, Oregon State, I know you're looking to go 9-1, and you got potential to be 9-1 going into that Washington matchup. But do not go to sleep on Arizona.
Definitely
not sleep. You sleep on them, they'll chew you up like that chicken nugget.
All right, well, definitely get in touch with us at the USC post game live, and let us know what you think of the games.
I'll make sure of it, man. And thank you for having me on. And check out Tony's new hit ebook, Deja Vu: Wild History Timeline: Rise and Fall of the Pac-12 and Pacific Coast Conference. I love that.
Thank
book.
you. I'm glad you like it. And everybody check out Jackson's channel, The Jacksonian. They do a great job. He's got lots of fun and a great crowd we had the other night.
Oh man, it was a blast, man. It was. Again, thank you for having me on, and y'all have a good night. And sleep well, and an awesome show.
All right, we'll see you soon. See you next time, Jackson.
See you next time, gents.
See you, Jackson.
All right, gang. I think we're about to talk about the Utes. We've got Larry Pilgrim. Who you got? Oh, Larry, if you can close your YouTube window real quick. We got Larry Pilgrim. If you guys haven't subscribed to Pac-12 Pilgrim, you can follow him on Twitter and on YouTube. Larry, welcome to the show. Oh, Larry, you're echoing, I think.
Shouldn't be me. Am I still echoing?
Yes. Oh, nope. Yeah.
I'm just on my phone. I've totally closed out my YouTube. Wonder if it's
can you call us back? Call back in.
Hold on. Is that better or is that still doing it?
Can you guys hear an echo? Yeah, we got an echo still.
Okay, it's my phone. So you can move on.
All right, sorry.
Nope.
Hey, good. Go, Larry, real quick, Larry. We won't talk. You give us your prediction of the Utah game.
27-21 Utah.
All right, you heard it here first. Larry says Utah is going to pull off the win. I believe it. Good luck to the Utes, Larry. Sorry, we got a weird technical issue. If you want to sort it out, just give us a call back. I don't know what's going on. All right, next up, we've got friend of the show, Will ND, here to talk to us about the games going on this week. Will, welcome to the show. Oh, you there, Will?
Will's probably mad you didn't put up a slide for Notre Dame versus the Yard Dog.
We should have had Notre Dame Pitt. That's my bad. I'll take responsibility. That's my bad on that one.
Notre Dame by 1 billion.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I just did it. My brain was like, yeah, Notre Dame's going to destroy Pitt. Oh, Will, are you there? Can you hear us? All right, we'll move on. We'll leave Will up there if he rejoins us. We'd love to have him there. Hey, there he is. Will, what do you think of the Pac-12 games this week?
We got some great games this week. We got the Utes and the Ducks and Rice Eccles. He got to be a touchdown better than the Utes to win. So,
what do you think is going to happen in that one?
I think it's a toss-up, but I'm going to go Ducks by 3 just because Bryce, like if they had Cam Rising 100%, I would go with the Utes. And I know Bryson Barnes, like the pig farmer, he made magic happen in the Coliseum, but I think the Ducks are a different animal. But I think it could go either way. But if I had to pick a team, I think I would pick the Ducks.
Yeah, I think they're going to break that streak. It'll be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you think of the games this week?
I mean, I want to be interested to see if SC can get right. in their last ever game on the Pac-12 network against the Golden Bears.
We hope it's our last.
Should get right.
It's the end of an era, the last game on the Pac-12 network.
Mhm.
I was getting ready to celebrate that,
So,
Will.
yeah.
And now it turns out it wasn't the last game. I would have popped my champagne for no reason.
Mhm. I mean, I
They gotta-
obviously expect the Trojans to win, but with all the chaos surrounding the program and Lincoln Riley being out of the picture, there is a slim chance that the Bears would win, but I think the Trojans should get right.
You know, I'm hoping that it just really turns out to be a whole lot of stupid nothing. You know, I mean, assuming that they're not lying to us, right, and that he really does have pneumonia, poor guy. Everyone's like, "Is he going to the NFL?" And he's probably like, dying in bed.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, again, assuming that there's nothing untoward going on, which I think is pretty safe to say. I don't think Katie Ryan's going to say he has pneumonia if he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, they're pretty specific, but it'll be interesting. Hey, Will, who have you got for the Arizona game at night?
This is a wonderful Pac-12 after dark game. Like, this is as good as it gets. I mean, I'm going to be hooked to this game all night long. Well, I do have work at 9 Eastern, so I don't know if I can stay up for the whole game, but like this game just screams chaos to me. This is going to be wonderful.
It really is, isn't it? I don't know who to pick. Like I went back and forth. Yeah. I finally said back the A, bear down. I think they can pull off the upset, and it will just wreak havoc into everyone's standings.
I love the Beavs, though, so I want the Beavs to win.
I do too, and they're a better team. But in the desert after dark.
But they're two totally different. What I like about them stylistically, these are two totally different teams. And I really can see Oregon State. By the way, I think we all hate these new rules. It really shortens games as it is, but I could just see them just absolutely choking Arizona, the life out of Arizona. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, two great coaches, Jonathan Smith and Jed Fish. It's going to be a fun little chess battle in Tucson.
Yeah,
I'm not putting these coaches on the same level. Sorry, I can't stand for that.
You got to let Jed Fish go, all right? Your school did. Now you got to let him go.
He can go wherever he wants, but he can't go on the same award stand as Jonathan Smith.
I fully agree.
He has to be a few steps below him on the podium.
I agree. I love Jonathan Smith, but wilder things have happened after dark in that desert. So we're going to see.
And I'm a little I know it's lost its shine a bit with Colorado falling apart, but it's going to be exciting. It's still going to be a little exciting to see primetime go to the Rose Bowl because this is probably going to be their only time going there.
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet.
And I think this is a game where
until maybe he coaches Auburn and they play in the playoffs there someday.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't go to Auburn or anything. But I think this will be fun to see. This can be Dante Moore's spotlight game where he breaks out and really has a great performance because
he's not playing well.
Pretty Swiss cheese. So I think this
Dante
will be
Moore's
a showcase game for him.
So, well, just so you know, well, Dante Moore is not playing.
Is it going to be Garbers?
Chip said he was banged up last week against Stanford, but I think Garbers will be our starting quarterback for the rest of the year. I would imagine, unless he does something terribly egregiously bad. I'll just say that.
Okay. That's a shame.
But no, Dante Moore.
You can't win if you're throwing a pick six every game. I think that was the decision that was made.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I actually made the point earlier in the show before you got on that the timing of the quarterback change was kind of shitty in the sense that I think you're right that if Dante Moore was playing that game against Stanford or playing this game against Colorado, that he would look a lot better than he did against Oregon State and
or Utah.
State and Utah. Yeah, right, exactly.
What's the ASU game? I saw another game.
ASU versus Wazoo.
Wazoo has to win, right? I mean, but things happen in the desert. That's the thing.
Things happen. Yeah,
desert.
exactly. Will, I was going to say, are you going to make a declarative statement about what has to happen in the desert after dark?
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 after dark desert games tomorrow, or Saturday, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be a wild one.
Yeah. Do we know who's starting for ASU?
They're a pretty big home dog too, man. It's like 7 points or 6 points.
It's I had it written down. It is 6.
Friend of the show, Sergeant Pickles, whose beloved Huskies have not won in Tempe since I was an undergrad, says the desert is cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Also reiterated by friend of the show, Jeff Rodriguez. You guys know it. The desert is cursed. Wild things happen. Big 12 teams are going to hate going there.
Oh, man. It's going to be so funny to see their fan base is just like on Twitter, like during
meltdown.
Yeah.
Just wait till West Virginia. We just wait till like undefeated West Virginia goes in to play like a lowly ASU team and just gets run out of there at night in the desert.
Yeah, like UCF and Oklahoma State reacting to that. It's going to be funny.
when the Haboob comes, like the Haboob dust storm, and the game is postponed for 4 hours and then they lose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it should be funny. It should be entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good luck to the Irish against Pitt this weekend.
I just want our offense to get to 40. Please get to 40.
You should against Pitt at home. You should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're speaking of stadiums that are cursed. I think the Irish will be fine at home against Pitt.
Pitt always like plays us close. I mean, I think last time we took it to them in the COVID year, but weird things happen when we play Pitt. We usually win, but it's close. So, but yeah, it'll be fun.
Narduzzi ain't no Johnny Majors, so I think you'll be in good shape.
We should be in good shape.
Oh, well, thanks for calling, Will. Glad to have you. We'll see you after the game.
On, guys.
All right. Talk to you later.
Will. All right, go Irish.
Thanks,
guys.
Will.
All right. We are actually getting close to our time here. We got 2 folks waiting, so let's just bring them on. We'll bring them on both together. We got Mike. We got the 2 Mikes. We got Mike Fort and Buckeye Mike. Guys, welcome to the show. What do we think of the Pac-12 games?
Oh my God!
Week?
Just do not talk about anything happening in the Midwest, please. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, we're not talking about anything we're not talking about anything east of Boulder tonight.
No, I don't want to. Please.
Okay,
great. Let's go. What do we do about the Pac-12 this week?
I think these games look great.
I think some of them look great. I'll pass on Washington, Stanford.
yeah, that's easy blowout
that's a good
right there.
Choice.
Washington and get to 70, I think.
See, now that Oregon State Arizona game is kind of interesting to me. Now, just for clarification, Fafita's the guy for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, as far as unless they say otherwise, I have to believe that. I think that he is.
Because I mean, I wasn't sure if Delora was like out for the year or if this was just a
No, he's not. But the way that they were talking, the way that like Jed Fish was initially talking about it, he was like, "Oh, when he's completely healthy, he's like it's his job." But I don't think that that's the case anymore, as far as I understand it. Who knows what happens, but I'm pretty sure Fafita is the guy.
You should be.
And I thought this game was kind of interesting because, I mean, I saw in the chat earlier, they're always talking about, we were talking about the coaches, the coach of the year and stuff like that. And they were all kind of touting Whittingham. And I was like, I think Jed Fish might have his name in the argument for Pac-10 coach of the year because, I mean, if you'd have told me, to rank these Pac teams preseason, I'd have had Arizona probably, third to last. I mean, I thought they've played well above they've been punching above their weight class all season, it seems.
He's a good coach. I like him. I think he's a good coach. I think he's doing a lot of good stuff for them. And I think that people don't appreciate how far down they had fallen.
Oh yeah. During there were those Rich Rod years, they got a little slim.
Jed Fish went to like the Mario Cristobal School of Game Management, but not quite as bad. But he aspires to reach that level.
I don't think anything is as bad as poor Mario. What happened in the tech game? That was something else. But it's east of Mississippi. All right, gang. Any other games we want to hit tonight before we wrap up?
Well, I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Now, if Oregon, has a pretty good game against Utah, you think Bo Nix might become the new Heisman front runner?
Yeah.
Oh, against that defense, if he throws like 4 touchdowns and throws for like 350 plus, he's a shoo-in.
Should be.
So I know right now, I think they have they actually have JJ McCarthy is the front runner right now, but I'm a little skeptical on that. But I think Penix has kind of played his way out. Same with Caleb, so I'm kind of looking for that next guy up. I figured Bo Nix might have a shot at it.
I mean, I'll tell you, I think these teams both have a lot of games to play still. So I wouldn't say necessarily any of them have played their way out, because I think we're going to see what's going to happen with these games. I think the whole country's going to watch on a few of them. Penix will probably put up 100 gazillion yards against Stanford.
And then Washington won't play Utah, right?
I don't think they do they?
No. So they missed that defense.
Maybe
in a
conference championship, though.
Yeah, the only way they would catch him is conference championship.
I mean, we're talking about coach of the year. There's a good chance you might have a repeat of Jonathan Smith and DeBoer if they both get back to the conference championship game again. Well, they get to the conference championship game, I should say. So, I mean, there's a good chance of that too. Oregon State's got it. Oregon State's sleeping on everybody. Everyone keeps looking at. We're all looking at Oregon. We're all looking at Washington, and Utah and more so Oregon State. They're just like flying low, and just thinking about that. Sneaking their way in. So,
well, preseason I had Oregon State making the Pac-12 title game. I had USC and Oregon State because I think Oregon State's defense has kind of let me down a little bit.
Yeah, agreed. That's the one thing that gave me pause earlier. I wasn't about it. Then I hopped on it. Our Beaver guys in the chat, they got me rolling. I saw some good numbers early on. I bought in, but yeah, they're still. They're a top 50 defense, really, towards the 50 part of it. So it's not like they're a bad defense, but they're not what they've been the past couple of years.
Yeah, I thought they kind of took a step back because didn't Cal score like 40 something on them?
Yeah, I don't know that their defense is. I mean, we move the ball on them some of the time. No,
I'm just saying statistically that's going off yards per play. So I mean that's not a composite of anything. It's just like one metric. So yeah, I'm just saying
they're certainly not what they were last year defensively, but they're also way better offensively than they were last year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, DJU will do that.
All right, guys. Hey, we gotta save 2 minutes here for Connor as we get ready to wrap up. Any final takes on the Pac-12 this week?
None for me.
Yeah, so I just want to run through these real quick. I just kind of threw these together. I got Arizona 38-35. USC gets redemption 53-30. Colorado pulls it out 31. Wow. And the Utes are riding high off of the big major win last week, 28-24. And Arizona State gives Wazoo some crazy stuff to deal with, 31-21 Arizona State.
I like that pick. It'll be fun to see what happens.
Hot take.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good pick. I like it. Yeah. Hey, there's no such thing as a hot take in the desert because anything can happen.
Oh, I was talking about the Colorado pick that he had. I'm not sure. If you don't say we don't, Gus, that's a money line bet right there for you. You want to make some good money because
put your money on it. I like it. Hey, thank you guys.
Going bowling, man.
I like it. Thank you guys, and good luck to your Buckeyes and Wolverines this week. Or Wolverines on the week off.
Oh yeah.
Good luck to the Wolverines and other things this week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
All right, we got one more caller here. We got Connor Johnson. Connor, talk to us about the big Beavs showdown this week.
I couldn't just stand by with all the beef slander being thrown around. I wasn't going to do
slander?
it. I wasn't going to call in.
From who?
Well, the last guest picked 38-35 Arizona. I've heard a few people, maybe not even necessarily on the show, say that we need to be worried about this game. And while
you should be worried because it's Pac-12 after dark in the desert, and you're from up north.
And they're actually good.
And I would be worried, but I got you guys winning. But it's not like this is going to walk right through this game. I would not make that mistake.
But Arizona, you might, because anything can happen in the desert after dark.
Winter is coming. So a few takes on this game.
Tell us.
I think it will be Fafita, obviously. I wouldn't count out a JDL surprise appearance. Fish is high on him. With that said, I'd actually, hot take, be more worried about JDL. His ceiling, a few years ago, he tore us up with Washington State. And Fafita, I think you had some novelty stuff going on where you didn't have much tape on him. And now, knowing Trent Bray, I think he's going to have a scheme. I think he's going to have a game plan for them. We're going to run right at former Duck Justin Flo. We're going to open up the pass game for surprise, sneaky Heisman contender DJU, who, according to the Vegas odds, has has better odds to win the Heisman right now than one Caleb Williams.
I love me some DJ. Listen, you just whatever you're smoking up there, Connor. I love DJ. He's a brave through and through.
Whatever it is, you could have at least shared.
But because listen, that's off. Basically, he's had a couple of bad performances. I mean, anyway. Yes, I wish the best to you guys and DJ for sure.
Well, he's the one quarterback in the Pac-12 that you can say is getting better from week to week. And he has recently gone on a show with Jordan Palmer and Kyle Allen, QB room, and has said how comfortable he is finally in this system, pro style system. It fits him. He's putting up some good tape for the next level. But this is the game that, if you look at Fish, Arizona is about a year behind where Smith's program is. And I would have said before the year that Smith is a year behind where Whittingham's program is. I think those three programs have been built similarly. So this is a game we've finally, overcome the Utes. Granted, they had injuries, but I think I would still favor the Beavs. Neutral field, everybody playing, Cam included. So this is a game where we have to show that we're further along than Fish. Home or away, it doesn't matter. Every team who's going to have a shot at the postseason, Pac-12 championship, maybe even more, is going to have a statement win on the road. And I know, most of the national media would say that would be Oregon at the end of the year. But this game in the desert, it could be an early season or mid-season statement game. Go in there. I think we win by 2 scores. I think Wazoo, we walked into the Palouse having played nobody. We kind of sleptwalked the first half, and Cam Ward played out of his mind.
It was good.
So all the tape is out there on these two teams, and you're going to have best on best. And I'm confident that our running game is going to open up the pass, and our defense will do just enough. I know we have some doubters on the defensive side, but I think we can get some pressure on Fafita or Delora. So they got big tackles now. I'm not downplaying their O-line, but this is a statement game for Andrew Chatfield coming off the edge. I think he's second or third in the pack sack leaders. So look out for that guy, Andrew Chatfield. And then on offense, look out for Silas Bolden out wide, speed to counter our power run game with Fenwick and Martinez.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was thinking I was going to joke around saying if, Sammy Strotter or TJ Houthmanzada Chad Johnson. If you got those guys in there, I'd say you guys are a lock to win the Pac-12, and you might as well hand the trophy to DJ. But
I'm a good point.
I'm not sold on your receivers.
We our top two receivers. Our top two receivers are both 5'8", so that is a good point. Jack Velling, our tight end, is coming along. Subtly, we've become the tight end team in the conference behind Utah. So look out for Jack Velling as well. 6'5".
Do you remember that wideout at Wazoo last year that was so short? He was like 5'6" or whatever, that he kept getting targeting penalties. Like
we had one of those.
Because he was
He's
so
right
short,
at my elbow level, ref.
He was. Though all these people got thrown out for targeting, and it was like, well, just the physics, like the height, like you just. Anyway.
Are you thinking of Champ Flemings? Because Oregon State had a receiver who was like no more than 5'5", 5'6", and he's since transferred to Arkansas State. But the same way with him.
This guy was at Wazoo. I don't remember who it was.
So Connor, we don't have to do it right now, but since you brought it up later, we need to have a tight end conversation.
Oh, okay. Speaking on UCLA, Schlee, don't sleep on Chip Kelly scheming something for Colorado. That's an interesting tidbit with Schlee coming from Kent State. That's very cool. This is obviously Utah, Oregon aside. This is another one that I'm most excited about because if Colorado's got to respond. I mean, if Prime wants to keep the train rolling in LA, get the recruits noticing, I think Shador's going to be hurried and he's going to have to put the team on his back, which he's done. It's just that front four with the Murphys and Latu,
pretty good.
Going to be a tall task. And then finally, Oregon, Utah. I want Utah to win, obviously, because we have the head-to-head versus them. So if we're looking forward to the end of the season, head-to-heads matter. At home gives Utah, 7-10 points maybe. Maybe they get a defensive score or at least a ball in their side of the Oregon side of the field. I hate to say it, I still like Oregon in that game. They're just better. All around, their defense is as good as Utah's on a good day, and their offense is about 2 scores better than Utah's. So, give me Oregon by a touchdown.
I like it.
Another week, boys.
Another week. Hey, well, good luck to your Beavs this week. Any final thoughts as we get ready here?
No, just look out. Here come the end of the stretch. Head-to-heads matter, like I said. That Wazoo loss is going to look bad. We need Wazoo to start winning some games for our sake. Pac-2 won in the courts, not quite yet, but some leaks today tend to favor our court case. So we'll see what comes of that. Some off the field drama, certainly.
For sure. Well, thanks for calling in, and we'll be cheering hard for you guys. Pac-12 After Dark.
Go Beavs! Yeah, no madness in the desert this weekend. Fear the North.
Fear the North. Kings of the North.
You,
I like it. Let's go Beavs. Thanks
Connor.
for calling in, Connor.
Thanks, Connor.
Of course, yeah.
Right on. All right, boys. We got week 9 coming up. Any final thoughts here as we get ready to roll? By the way, to everybody in the chat, Rick says goodbye. He unfortunately is having some internet issues, but definitely everybody subscribe to the LBC Trojan channel. He's doing some pretty cool stuff. I'll put the link in the chat.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for hanging out. I think this week has the chance to be, I mean, we've talked about all of them, but like this week has the chance to be pretty crazy, I think, in a couple of different spots. Who knows, maybe now that I think of it that way, like then it's just boring and no upsets happen or whatnot, but there's a few home dogs that I think might bark, and I think it's going to be a really interesting week in the conference, and I appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat and calling in, and go Bruins.
Yeah, and just a reminder, everyone, to go ahead and make sure that you check out our show on Friday. We're going to be doing it's the last Weekender, so we're hoping to get a lot of people. It's great. We've been getting guys from Georgia, Utah. We had an Oklahoma guy 2 weeks ago. We're getting people from all different teams all over the country, just talking. Really, it devolves into talking some football, but it's primarily for USC football, and the Cal game, the Weekender, is going to be the focus. So come check us out. And then also every Monday at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, we have the USC show with Mark and Matt and myself, the Trojan Conquest Live. So look forward to seeing you guys later on.
All right. To everybody, enjoy this weekend. We got some wild games. We've got Oregon going into Utah where they may be able to break the streak. We've got the last USC Cal game. I mean, this is a game that people forget. This is a game that's about North versus South. This is San Francisco versus LA. This is old money and new money. This is just a game that has so much symbolism on it. And it's maybe the last time it's going to be played in a really long time. So watch it and enjoy it. Watch and enjoy those two crazy, crazy games that we're going to have in the desert coming up Saturday night. To Pac-12 fans, it's going to be a great weekend, and we hope you'll join us. We hope you'll watch them with us. And for those of you guys watching the USC game, we hope you'll join us after the game right here on the Voice College Football Channel, USC Postgame Live. But no matter what you're doing, gang, just enjoy them and have a wonderful, great football weekend. As always, everybody, be safe and fight on.